Ladies and gentlemen, if you would please, your attention. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. We're trying to identify the remaining unoccupied seats in the room. So if you're sat next to a seat that's not occupied, would you mind gently and kindly raising your hand so that the people that are searching for seats can also make their way to those seats? Again, we kindly request that as the show's about to start, we'd like to identify the remaining seats that are unoccupied. For members of the public with black wristbands as well, there is seating available in the balcony section, and I can see several seats upstairs that are unoccupied, and you can fit several people across. So for those of you still looking for seats, look for a hand in the air, because that means there are unoccupied seats in that area. And we appreciate that. That will help us get everybody seated and accommodated so that we can begin. Thank you very much.
Hello, everybody. Better late than never, as they say. We're going to start this thing off with something more like in the sporting events, but my mother was very patriotic and did several tours in Korea entertaining the troops, and therefore she gets to have a color guard. So I'm going to hand this first moment off to the color guard. Say hi to our military. Okay, now what makes this really great is if we're all super quiet and we let them do their cadence. It's to you, gentlemen. Thank you, everybody, for that. My mother would have liked that. We're going to have a little bit more on Debbie and her tours in Korea in the show. In fact, this entire thing I'm calling a show, not a memorial, because my mother didn't like memorials or funerals, and she liked shows and parties, and so she also loved her people, and you are all her people, not just her close friends, but her extended family, her fans. So this show, as we're calling it, was really designed for you to be in our living room as if we were all a big family, having a memory, a memorial of two amazing people. And we would be sharing these same kind of films and photographs, telling the same stories. Not the usual stuff that you might be very accustomed to, although we'll show you a few film clips just because. But we're going to focus on the family aspects of this and the personal aspects. So you're going to see a lot of things you've never, ever seen before. For those of you who saw the HBO special Bright Lights, that really became this piece that's an amazing legacy piece. Fisher Stevens and Lexus is here, the directors. And that is an amazing legacy piece, truly, in their own words, seeing them in their natural habitat, so to speak. And you get to experience what I've had to deal with my entire life, in a good way. But there were no finer people that I had ever known than my mother and my sister. And it started with my mother. And we were very young. My sister and I were in Beverly Hills going to the toy store with my mom. And we walked along and we wanted to go into this toy store. And some fans came up to my mother and they said, you know, could we talk to you, have an autograph? And my mom was talking with them and making them feel like they really knew her and they had a moment with her. And Carrie and I were like, come on, man, you know, we want to get some stuff in the toy store. And we were kind of annoyed by this whole thing. And my mother grabbed us both and said, oh no, these are my people, just like you are my people. And she took the time, her whole life, to do that with everybody. Not one fan I ever saw her turn away. And that, yeah. She used to say, if you can't handle that, you should find another line of work. So when Carrie became famous, which obviously happened, she became our princess. She was always my princess. These are my girls. She didn't exactly come onto that real quick either. It was a bit of an inconvenience to be a star, and all of a sudden people start to take your time when it's not necessarily the most convenient. But she got it. Because of all the time my mother spent with us, she made sure we got it. And then Carrie got it, and she gave to her fans the same way my mother did. So when Carrie left us, my mother and I were talking, and my mother decided to change her plans a bit. Originally, she had thought that she would go first. In fact, my mother said to me many times, I never want to go to my daughter's funeral or service. So she is now, differently though. And so she said, I would like to change my burial plans and I would like to be buried with Carrie. We didn't have any plans for that. So she kind of sent me on this mission to think about where we could go. And I didn't know she was going to leave us that very next day. And when she looked at me and asked permission from me to leave, which I didn't realize what she was saying, I thought she was talking ethereally. She literally just asked permission, said she wanted to be with Carrie. She closed her eyes and went to sleep. It's what it looked like to me. The doctors have other words, but that's what happened. It was a very peaceful exit that only my mother could have orchestrated. You know, she was trained in Hollywood where they teach you to make a great entrance and a great exit. Not the one I would have picked, but actually it was. It was a beautiful exit. And when they both were gone, I very quickly started to think where I could go. And I went to a few places, but when I came here, this is, you know, the old Lasky movie studio lot, back lot. Movies were made here. That was kind of cool. But I walked up to this place down the hill, and there was Betty Davis, who was Debbie's close friend and mentor. And I thought, that's pretty cool. And I walked a few steps further, and there's Liberace. I thought, okay. So now we go down this hill, and the salesman who's with us, he says, well, here's the two things that are available. It's pretty close to that spot. I thought, this is pretty beautiful. But just then, these hummingbirds came. And my mother loved hummingbirds. In fact, in Bright Lights, both Carrie and Debbie talk about hummingbirds. I thought, damn, this guy is a genius salesman. Because when he told me how much, anyway, I thought He is a genius salesman, by the way, so anybody wants to come here, it's a great spot. Hummingbirds, I haven't seen them since, but that's my point. I think Debbie was, I think he rented them at the prop house. But Debbie would have been very happy with where she is, and I encourage all of you, when this is all done and you have a breath, go down the hill. It's a little ways down the hill, and visit where they are. I think it's a pretty beautiful spot, and I think you should, if you feel like you want to do that, do that. We've also put things in the lobby here that are their artifacts, the things that remain. This is something that was very important to my mother, was the collectibles of Hollywood and preserving our history, and so we have preserved some of their history, and it's on display here in the lobby, some of it. We hope to do a lot more later. We're going to do some things at DR Studios, Debbie Reynolds Dance Studios, and you're going to hear a little bit more about that. All right, we're going to take Carrie's writing room and her bedroom and Debbie's living room and put them in the museum as is. So you can literally come and see where they held court. For those of you that are her friends, like literally came to the house, you'll understand how inside that is. Because they didn't do meetings and things in offices and whatnot. They held court in these rooms, so we're going to put them on display, and you can all come feel what that was like. So, having said all of that, we have put together this little tribute to the two girls, and it's taken several months, and there's some amazing people have busted their ass putting it together, working many, many, many long hours for what is a one-off show. This will be it. We're showing you this. This is meant for you and for the people, and hopefully you'll know them a little bit better when you see all of this. You'll feel the music that was sometimes written for them. You'll see the pictures that Debbie took and Carrie took and I took. So we hope you get to be a little closer to them when this is all over, and also that you'll able to say a little deep breath of relief. So with that, we're going to start the show. Thank you.
May the force be with you.
Someday, when I'm awfully low, when the world is cold, I will get a glow just thinking of you and the way you look tonight. Someone is staring at you in personal growth.
Yours.
Hello. I'm sorry to call so early.
Are you all right?
No one I know would call at this hour.
I did something terrible.
What did you do?
No one I know would call at this
So
hour.
awful.
I need to talk.
What happened?
What's the matter?
Harry came over last
I went
night
over to Sally's last night.
because I was upset that Joe was getting
And
married.
one thing led to
And
another.
before I knew it, we were kissing.
To make a long story short, we did it.
Just calm down, see? Look, Bruce Thorpe, United States Secret Service. Okay?
And I suppose that's your gun, huh?
Oh, no, I wear a shoulder holster.
I think you got exactly the same eyes as your mother. And your chin a little bit like hers, too.
I only did shampoo because I was hanging around a set and they, almost. I was a type. That was when Debbie wanted me to use the word screw instead of fuck. And Warren had to come over and convince her.
Can't we just, be friends?
You wanna fuck?
I sure hope this thing leads someplace. Who is that girl?
You betrayed me.
Oh, Jake.
Let's go.
I have a delicious surprise. It's a very special cake. I want you kiddies to have the first piece.
Good morning.
Good morning. We've talked the whole night through.
Good morning.
Good morning to you. Good morning. Good morning.
I have no idea how she did all the things she did. She's not made like other people. She does good deeds. A lot of them.
My mom was never afraid to call somebody up and say, hey, so-and-so, come on down here and help us out and let's raise some money to do this. She was never shy. When she called you, you know, people would run for cover. Oh, my God.
Debbie Reynolds, discovered as a teenager in a Burbank beauty contest in 1948.
My mother grew up right down the street from Warner Brothers Studio, but was not interested in being in the business. She wanted to be a gym teacher. So even though she drove by this great studio, she never dreamed that one day she'd be having a screen test there with Danny Kaye in 1948. And that is what led to MGM picking up her contract.
MGM just put her in class with Elizabeth Taylor, with Roddy McDowell, and they gave them speech lessons and posture. If it turned out that you could dance, you could sing.
Acting lessons led to bit parts.
Please put these in the East Room.
Which led to a surprise hit. Then, Singin' in the Rain.
Singin' in the rain, just singin' in the rain. What a glorious feeling, we're happy again.
Debbie struggled to keep up with Gene Kelly and Donald O'Connor. Exhausted and frustrated, she collapsed under a piano, where Fred Astaire found her and invited her to watch him rehearse his own routines. Fred taught Debbie that there was no easy way. Soon, an Oscar nomination.
We're going to sing.
Not with Molly Brown on board. That ship may be down, but not me. I'm unsinkable.
The role of the unsinkable Molly Brown is truly at the core her. When she fought to get that role, it was for a good reason. It's her all over.
I'm gonna see what there is to see. So if you go from nowhere on the road to somewhere and you meet anyone, you know it's me.
Very early in my mother's career, she was taken by the studios and by Operation Entertainment to Korea. And she did a couple of different tours there where she entertained the troops and she went to the hospitals and saw the injured soldiers. I think it really shaped her in certain ways as to what her future humanitarian work was going to be.
Well, they're the people that need the most attention, you know. We put them all in a very unusual circumstance. Our soldiers had to go to war, go to Korea, Vietnam, and not at home. And so we have a USO